starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening and welcome to Movie Chat. I'm Steve, and it's been an eventful week for Movie Chats. Little Steve is in the process of moving house, and he's not going to be with us this evening, so you're stuck with me. Hence why I've put the link into the chat. So if you feel like coming, helping me out and bailing me out, you're more than welcome. Hey Jess, hope you're feeling better. So let's see who we've got in this evening. So we've got JR, evening JR. We've got the Dave. Hey Shabba. Hey Derek. Hello Joanne. Yeah. So what my plan was tonight was sort of stick to the format and go through stuff, and see where we end up this evening. So like I say, the link's already in, so feel free to pop on and come and talk to me this evening. Like I say, I'm by myself. Little Steve's in the middle of moving house. Evening Richard. Hey Laney. I hope you enjoyed Spider-Man the other day when you watched it. So speaking of Little Steve, and I hope they don't mind me using this video, Little Steve was YouTube famous for another reason this week. If you haven't subscribed to Melting Movies 1, give it a go and see what he's like. He's just hit the 500 subscribers mark, but I'll just play this little clip.
It's either Oliver Ian 07 or Oliverian 07 or Oliver Ian 07. Whatever the case is.
So, as you can see, it's not just us and Belle that has problems with Oliver Ian 07 between Olivia and everything else. So, if you haven't subscribed to him, go and check him out. Melting Movies 1. It's a brilliant little channel. Like I say, he's just got to the 500 sub mark. And yeah. Oh, speaking of which, he's just in now. So I don't know if he's just seen that little clip then. But yeah, he's YouTube famous for another reason. So what else has happened this week in the way of movies? Unless you've been living under a rock, then obviously we've had the Oscars and we've had this little clip.
And his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
So between the Oscars not really getting many views over the last couple of years, and obviously we've had COVID and stuff like that going on, and then that happens on Sunday, followed by Lainey's boyfriend, Jason Momoa, burping just as they announced that they're there for the Oscar for the best sound contribution. the Oscars was quite an entertaining night, and we've had quite a lot of stars coming out in support of Will Smith, and a lot of stars coming out condemning Will Smith and backing Chris Rock. And apparently the Academy asked Will to leave the Oscars, and he refused to do so. So let me, bearing in mind that happens all before he goes on to win his Oscar, and then he gives that half-hearted apology to start off with, and then he apologized to Chris on Monday. So let me know what you think. If that was a General Joe blogs walking up and assaulting a normal comedian, would he be escorted? Would he be arrested? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the chat there. The interesting thing is that there's a great angle, and unfortunately I never got the clip of it. There's a great angle of behind Jada Smith where you see her laughing when he slaps Chris. So he was laughing at the joke, as you just saw there, the previous joke and that joke, until he sees the look of her, and then he goes off and does that. So I don't know. Is it worth the love of a good woman to publicly ruin your career? I don't know. Like I say, let me know in the chat what you think. Okay, so like I say, my plan was just trying to stick with it as much as I can, and we'll go from there and see where we end up. What's Shabba saying here? 2 seconds, guys. It's wrong and very unprofessional of Will. It shows the cracks that Will and Jada relationship. Yeah, like I say, it's an interesting situation, especially with the Academy saying that they wanted him to leave and he refused to leave, and then obviously goes on to win the Best Actor award for King William, or whatever his name was, the Venus Sisters movie. Always a jealous guy. Can't believe there's lots of YouTube footage of him not taking candle. Yeah. But like you say, has his stock gone from being your A-lister movie actor? I don't think he's been A-lister for a long time, but he's been up there. Is he now dropped back down here, and are people going to be scared to touch him with that? I don't know. But like I say, it's interesting hearing some of the Academy comments coming out, especially the likes of Jim Carrey completely condemning him for what he's done. It's an interesting one. Should we move on to the Wheel, the homework movie for next week? Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay, right, here we go. So there we have it, ladies and gents. The first homework on the homework wheel is 1 hour photo. Now, this takes the out the hands of the guest, really. You guys now submit what you want us to put on the wheel on the end of this week's live show. Put the comments on after it goes live. We'll add it to the wheel. And hey, presto, this is what we've got there. So it's 1 hour photo. We have our first guest. Good evening.
Hello. I'm not 100%, so I've just come on without my camera because,
No, that's fine. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for getting me out of the just rambling to myself.
I thought I'd stand in for little Steve for a little bit.
And how are you? You all right?
Just at the end of a chest infection thing, so yeah, knackered, but getting there as it were.
So, apart from Spider-Man, what else have you been watching as of late?
Outlander. I have started Outlander.
And what do you think?
I'm hooked. I literally watched the whole first series and it got to the point where it was getting to 6 o'clock in the morning. I had to switch it off till the next day because I think I was on to like episode 12 or something by that point. And I thought like I'd literally watched it that much.
So you're not just getting started, then you're quite far into the.
I've just started like the second series, onto the second episode of the second series. But yeah, it's a hard watch actually in some points. So like some of the things that happen in there, kind of thing, you kind of like, wow. Have you watched it?
I started to watch it and then I got into other things. It is on my list to jump back into.
Yeah.
But like I say, when you've got stuff like The Last Kingdom coming back, then you've got Vikings and now Halo, for example, Halo and Picard back. It's hard to find me time to jump back into these series. However, Lana does believe that I just sit around and watch TV all day while I'm supposed to be working, and it's not that straightforward, I'm afraid.
It is. It's like everything that comes out. You kind of like, how are you going to fit it all in anymore? Because it isn't much, isn't there?
Well, especially now we are back in the office now as well. It's hard just to have stuff on in the background as well.
The other thing I watched was the second series of Bridgerton. Binge watched that. Really enjoyed it again. And obviously, as I said, Spider-Man, which I absolutely loved. I loved the interaction between the three of them when they were all get like so like in awe of like the things that they'd done, and oh my god, I did this and I didn't know what, all like patting each other on the back about it, and like I just loved that interaction. I thought it was brilliant.
There was that nice touching moment where they obviously finish that phrase, isn't it? With great power comes great responsibility, and it just comes to the point where it's obviously destiny when it's either Uncle Ben or Aunt May, whoever's dying comes out with that. Yeah. Evening, Steve-O. Evening, Pat. Evening, Neil. Thank you for joining us. For those that are just joining late, unfortunately, little Steve won't be with us live. He is in the chat. He might pop on later on if he can. He is in the middle of moving house. So we'll obviously get some footage because Chris and I are going down over the weekend. We're going to go and help him sort it all out and get Movie Chats HQ back up and running. He'll be back with us next week. Spider-Man. If I remember correctly, you've not really been up to date, have you, with the rest of the Marvel stuff? So is it a bit of a strange one for you to jump in?
No, with Marvel, like that was probably the only one I hadn't seen. Haven't seen all like the sort of side spin-offs type of thing that come out, like all the like that Netflix did, like all of their individual ones. I know Disney's got that. What nurse his name? My brain's just gone.
Well, Disney have got WandaVision, they've got Winter Soldier and Falcon, they've got Loki, and they've got Hawkeye.
What I was thinking of, and I haven't seen any of those.
At the moment, they've just taken, although they've dropped Netflix, they've just taken Daredevil, The Punisher, and Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and the Defenders, which are the Netflix original series as well. So now those characters are filtering through because you've seen Daredevil now, haven't you, in No Way Home? So they've took him on that series on. So they're worth a watch if you haven't seen them, especially the Daredevil and Punisher series. They're brilliant.
Definitely, and it's just like like you said, trying to have time for everything because it's just like, and I know like the I haven't watched it yet. Killing Eve is back as well, and I tend to wait until something's finished. Like I'd rather watch it all in one than like wait week
Well,
by week. So
I lost interest in Killing Eve in the last series.
did you?
Is
I
this?
watched the last one, but I haven't seen this one. But obviously, whether I'll still find interest is another thing because that tends to happen to me. Is that I lose interest in things because they drag it out or whatever, and it just becomes, you know what I mean?
Well, that was it with Killing Eve. It was like she was no longer chasing her. They were sort of knew who each other were and where they were going to be and stuff. And it was like, you know,
Where
the
does
first
it go
series
from
was
here?
really, really good where they were both hunting each other.
And it's kind of like, well, where does it go from there?
Yeah. Yeah, the last series we sort of stopped watching it, and it got to the point where Lana was getting bored of it before I was, and then it was just like, yeah, we got another episode, and then I went, yeah, the story's not really progressing anyway.
Just to go back to the bit about the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of Will Smith, and so was shocked by it. You know what I mean? And I actually thought it was a stunt at first. I thought it was just some sort of joke thing, like I don't know how that there was going to be a stunt, but that's what I thought. And when he obviously laughed at what he said, and she didn't.
Yeah.
But even still, if he reacted because he looked at her face and thought, "Oh, I better go and do something about this," then that's wrong in itself, for one. But like, I mean, the thing was wrong. He should never have responded that way. Why not just walk out or like make some comment, but without like, you know what I mean? Without, or why didn't what? Or another thing, why didn't she make any? If she was upset by it, why didn't she say something at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Like,
it's like he obviously wasn't against shouting out because he went back to his seat and shouted what he shouted. So the whole thing with it was for me was, is that now putting that type of person above the law now?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because that's happened live on television where no one's had any control over that. You know, and yet the fact that he was laughing all the way through that, and he had a lot of the Oscars staff talking to him throughout the ads and stuff like that. And Chris Rock was already in the back. He was fuming at the back, but he wasn't saying too much. And he actually went and apologized to the hosts in the after party and stuff like that. He said, we've taken the spotlight off you and for what you've done tonight, and it's all going to be focused on what's happened over here. You know, and he apologized to everybody for what happened to him, and he never actually got an apology from anyone. Everyone was all worried about Will Smith, and it was like, hang on a second, he's the one that's caused a crime. You know, he's physically assaulted somebody live on TV, and yet he's the one that everyone's consoling about it.
Yeah, because like I used to follow him and stuff, Will Smith that is, and he was all about like, you know, like getting through life and ways to help yourself and all this, and like it was always about being positive and all this out the other, even if someone is done wrong by you. And at the end of the day, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know she had alopecia, right? And because that is apparently what the thing was. However, it wasn't the worst joke that could have been said. And I suppose even if that were the case, and it's having to go to someone's medical condition, essentially, you know what I mean? If he didn't know, how is he to know? He could.
Well, that's it. He's come out and he says he doesn't know about the condition, or he didn't know about the condition until someone pointed it out.
But to react in the way he did is just terrible. Like, and like I said, because it's sort of the camera was on them, and she had a face like a slapped arse, and Will was actually laughing, and then that changed. You know what I mean? It's all a bit weird. It's a bit weird, but I don't agree with it at all. And I like Will Smith's always the one I thought had it together again. You know what I mean? Kind of thing in that sort of Hollywood thing, but clearly not.
Well, it's like when you've got like Oprah Winfrey saying on This Is on the Monday that escalated to that point, and it didn't escalate anything. It was a case of I've said a joke now when you've reacted badly to a joke.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is a good job that Ricky Gervais wasn't on there, because some of the stuff that he's came out with in the past, that would have been an interesting.
I suppose, like, but the thing is, he speaks the truth, Ricky Gervais, isn't it? Like, he's having a go at them. He's picking them up on the truth that he speaks.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what sort of thing does it show young people, in the sense of like, all right, so I'm this famous actor, and I'm slapping someone on stage 1 minute, and the next minute I'm picking up an award. It just doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Nothing was done.
Yeah, but it was funny though, because if you look at all the reports and stuff, and I'm sad that I've been reading it most of the week. Apparently, when Chris come through the curtain, he says that's the only time I'm ever going to get hit by Muhammad Ali and come away without a scratch. Because Will Smith was Ali, wasn't he, in the film?
Yeah.
So it was just like, yeah. So Chris was seeing the funny side of it until someone pointed out he's just
like,
made you look a bell in there.
Also, this it might sound really stupid, but the slap was stupid in the sense of, like, if you're gonna get up and punch someone, not just slap them, aren't you? Like,
It's like he was in two minds what he was gonna do.
Yeah, like it like, I don't know, but like if like, because loads of people, I've seen people blaming her, saying it was because of her that he did it, and I'm like, well, sure, he's his own man, and he has his own mind and should know whatever. But I don't know, it was just all very weird and like mad, and it still is.
Do you want to read that question out from Shabba, Lainey? He's wrote it in
my language. Do you think Will Smith will be cast in any new films in the future? Probably, because that's Hollywood, isn't it?
You know, we've had actors go to prison and whatever, and they've been in films when they've come out, haven't they? You know, your Robert Downey Jr.'s, your Wesley Snipes, and people like that. They've all been rehab and everything else. I don't think he will be first on many people's lists now.
No.
But he will definitely be on lists. Evening, Peter. Thank you for joining us, mate. Yeah, he'll definitely be on people's lists, but maybe not as high as he was.
Yeah. It's just weird. It's just a bit sad and weird, really. But I don't get it, but I don't know. Strange.
Did you watch any of the homework movies this week, Lainey, by any chance?
No, because I didn't see last week's show, unfortunately, because I was really poorly last week. So I'm blaming that, just so you know. What were they, by any chance? And I'll know.
It was Place Behind the Pines and John Carter. So Shabba picked Place Behind the Pines. I don't know if Shabba wants to come on and have a chat about that, actually, because I'll be interested in what his view of that film was. I put the link back in the chat and see if he's free.
A Place Behind the Pines, did you say?
A Place Behind the Pines, yeah.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, it's got Ryan Gosling in it. It starts off that a woman goes back to meet a circus actor that she's had an fling with 12 months earlier, and it goes on from there. The film's on for about 2.5 hours, and it's like three different stories all interlinked, and it's strange how it all sort of links together. But I thought it was quite slow but good at the same time. It kept you sort of guessing where it was going with it. But yeah, A Place Behind Place Behind the Pines. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. I think it's on Netflix at the moment.
Right. I've heard of John Carter, but I haven't seen that either.
Now, John Carter's just a funny sci-fi little Disney film, and I don't know why it didn't do better than what it did, really, to be honest. I actually do enjoy John Carter.
I had heard of it, but yeah, I didn't.
Mm-hmm. So, when are we getting you back on for another quiz then, Lainey?
Whenever you want.
Whenever we want. Because I think the last time we had you on a quiz, it was Chris and Andrew with us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't do too well in that quiz. I don't, if I can remember correctly. I think Andrew propped my team up, to be honest. Yeah. So have a think when you want to come back on when you're feeling better, and we'll get you on to do a quiz.
Yeah. I don't know, a couple of weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's Neil saying here? It spoiled the evening. Other winners, no one could possibly tell you who won that award apart from
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing as well. It's just the constant memes. It's like everywhere you look. And like on YouTube, I've noticed that it's now Will Smith shouting at everybody. So that them things that the keep my effing wife's name out your mouth thing is now a sort of short with loads of different actors and actresses.
Yeah, I seen the one with Emma Watson.
One with Emma Watson, there's one with Rebel Wilson.
Yeah.
And what's her name? I'm forgetting her name. Anne Hathaway. There's loads of them. Just all out now. So.
Well, it was quite interesting how the hosts were sort of referring to it without referring to it, weren't they? You know, and throughout the evening, trying to make light heart of it all. But yeah, like you say, for that to have happened so early on, it just sort of ruined.
It ruined it.
The rest of the event.
Mm-hmm.
So what else have I got? Oh, the other piece of news I've got. I was going to talk about this evening was Bruce Willis retiring from acting.
Well, to be fair, I love Bruce Willis, don't get me wrong, but the last, how many films he's done that he just shouldn't have done, you know what I mean, they were pants, really, to be honest. Lupus, I don't know if you've seen Lupus. Did you watch Lupus with him in?
Looper, yeah.
Yeah, Lupus, that's it. I actually didn't think that was too bad, but like since then there must be like hundreds of, and he's always the same guy, isn't he? The same.
Well, since Looper, we've had 2 new Die Hard films, didn't we? And then we had Afterlife, where he was in space. Yeah, he's done a load that was straight to DVD, weren't he? And although he's retired from acting now, I think he retired from acting a decade ago by some of the stuff that he's put out recently.
Definitely. Like,
yeah.
I was always a big fan of his, you know, like in the older and stuff he did, but like I think the last thing that I really enjoyed of his was probably Red.
Now, I've seen Red, but I haven't seen Red 2.
It's not as good as the first one, I have to admit.
Not as good as the first one.
But the first one I really enjoyed. I loved the humour in it. I loved the, you know, just the sort of kick-ass old people vibe it had. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Favorite. Peter's asked a question here. Favorite Bruce Willis movie, and he's gone with The Fifth Element. Now, The Fifth Element was superb. That was a great film. Was it his best one?
I would probably say the first 3 Die Hards.
See, I quite like his early stuff. Because he was in, obviously, the first one that he did was Die Hard, and then he was in a film with Kim Basinger called Blind Date. That was quite funny, but that was when he was more his comedic
Yeah.
The comedic actor from the TV sort of stuff he was coming from, wasn't it? He was still playing a lot of that before they did the big action stuff. Obviously, Die Hard threw him in as an action star, didn't it?
Yeah. The Sixth Sense, Moonlighting. What else has he done?
Yeah, there you go. Joanne's just put Moonlighting. He was in Siege, wasn't he? And he's been in loads. I quite like him in All Nine Yards as well.
Oh yeah, All 9 Yards.
He was quite good in The Jackal as
Oh,
well.
Armageddon is probably one of my favourites, actually, thinking about it. I loved Armageddon.
Yeah. So he's definitely done some good films, but like you say, I think he's going to be remembered for the crap he's put out towards the end of his career, unfortunately, especially with the newer movie sort of fans.
Yeah.
Did you happen to have a look at 2012? The year?
Have I looked at 2012? No, but I can do that quickly now.
Yeah. Have a quick look at 2012 and see if you can see if you've got a top 5 films that you like from that year. And I'll ask the chat now. Could you tell me what was the top 4 highest grossing movies of 2012? And I'll give you a hint. The top 3 start with
The Dark Knight Rises.
That's number 2.
And The Amazing Spider-Man.
No, that's not there. So
Zac Efron one, is it?
Let me just check the chat. No, there's no comments in there just as yet. So, yeah, The Dark Knight Rises is number 2.
The Impossible?
No. No. Number 4 is Skyfall. Skyfall coming at number 4. Number 3 was The Hunger Games. Number 2 was The Dark Knight Rises. And number 1 was The Avengers.
Was The Avengers?
The Avengers was the highest grossing movie of 2012. Would you like to hazard a guess who were the top 4 highest grossing actors of 2012 was?
What's the name of the bloke who plays James Bond? Craig?
Daniel Craig.
Am I?
No, he's not on there, no. How could you say Hudson Hawk was his worst movie? I love Hudson Hawk. So, number 1 and 2, if you like your Twilight movies, you should get these.
Robert Pattinson.
No, you've gone with the wrong leading man.
Taylor. What's his face?
Yeah.
Can't think of his face.
Lunter.
Aye, that's it.
Yeah.
And then with the slapped ass face, I can't think of her name.
Kirsten Stewart.
Yeah, Charles looks like
number 3, Joanne's got number 3. Robert Downey Jr. And number 4, do you want to hazard a guess at number 4? This is another person that's found action movies at a late age.
At a late age? No, nothing's coming into my brain.
Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson was the fourth highest actor, grossing actor of that year. Best director was Ange Lee for Life of Pi. He won the best director award for that one.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a couple of seconds then, Lainey, if you want to have a look at your movies for 2012 to see which movies you
I'm
enjoyed.
just looking at them, but like it's trying to put them in an order because like I keep like seeing something else, and I'm like, oh. So I might just have to do like a 5 without like giving them a.
Well, I just do it in any particular order. I don't say
just do that then. I probably.
So go on. What have you got?
I've got the Avengers, obviously.
Yeah.
A Dark Knight Rises, or the Dark Knight Rises. I've got Brave, which is a Disney one.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. White. Is it Olympus Has Fallen or White House Down? I can't remember which one it was. One of them, I think.
Olympus Has Fallen. It's got Gerard Butler in it with Tommy Lane, and White House Down. That's Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx, isn't it?
I think it was Olympus Has Fallen, and I liked. I think.
They were both similar movies, weren't they?
Yeah, I think one of them was like to sort of.
I think White House Down was the B movie version of Olympus Has Fallen, but they were both like A-lister casts, weren't they?
Yeah. How many do I need? I just one more off.
What have you said? No, that was only the second one, wasn't it? Oh, where's Shabba? Good evening, sir. Hope you're well.
Hello.
Hi, Lenny. Okay.
No, that was only the second one, wasn't it? Oh, where's Shabba? What was your views on Place Behind the Pines then, Shabba?
Hold on. Let me close that. There we go. Sorry, I missed all that. Then I ended up having an echo. Then.
Oh no, I was just saying, what was your views on Place Behind the Pines?
I watched it about 3 years ago in the old place I used to live. It reminds me of two films combined into one. It's like an hour and 10, 15 minutes of obviously his struggles. And then you've got like the second part where it's like trying to think now in regards to the film because I've not watched it like for 3 years.
Well, the first 40 minutes, I'll just refresh you. The first 40 minutes was about the circus actor, and then he dies. And then the next half an hour was about how the copper dealt with killing him. And then after that, it was to do with the two sons who meet up in school.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sort of reverts back to the family aspect.
Yeah, it's got Eva Mendes in it as well. She's married to him, isn't she? Or she's
to Ryan Gosling.
To Ryan Gosling. Yeah, in real life. Yeah, with partners. Yeah.
It was an interesting film. I thought it was very slow. It takes a lot of time for things to happen, but then it just stays at that pace then for 2.5 hours.
You've got the guy who played Director Krennic in Rogue One. I think the first 40 minutes of the film, if I'm going off memory, but he is a good actor, to be fair. Very underrated as well, in my opinion. So, what are your views on obviously Bruce Willis and his illness? Now he's like retiring from acting. Same with you, Lainey, as well.
I think he should have retired a while ago, to be honest. I think the films he's been making in recent years have just not been anywhere near the standard. And maybe that's because the older you get in Hollywood, the harder it is to put you in films, I guess. Maybe. more so for women, I think, than men. But I think that's, you know, he's at the point where he's too old to be all action man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's kind of like been typecast, to be fair, for
Yeah,
like a number of
yeah.
years.
Well,
But
he hasn't gone down the route of playing the dad roles, has he?
Mhm.
You know, now he's at that age now where he could probably pass as someone's granddad.
Yeah.
You know, and
like
he's
Mel
sort of-
Gibson.
yeah, well, he sort of skipped all that sort of role out, hasn't he? You know, Robert De Niro sort of gone down that route now, hasn't he? He's the older gentleman in a lot of these films that he's in now.
Or Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah. But yeah, like Laney said, and as we've said previously already tonight, he was at that stage where he should have went 10 years ago.
Mhm.
You know, we've had 2 flop Die Hard movies. We've had loads of films that have, most of them have even skipped the streaming sites. They haven't even hit Netflix and Amazon. They've just gone straight to DVD release.
Mhm.
You know, and there's movies there that when I was looking at his list of films earlier on in the week, there's films in there that I didn't even know he's made.
But it's like Steven Seagal. It's like after Under Siege 2, yeah, obviously it was big in the like kind of mid to late 80s with like Nico, Under Siege 2. Or is it there's
Glimmer
another
Man.
one he's in as well, yeah. And it's like after that he ended up just being fat and being in like Channel 5 movies. Yeah, which is obviously terrible as well. Like everyone on TikTok at the moment is taking the mick out of him. The way he's running and the way he's acting in movies, and you kind of like look back and you think, "Oh, that was a good film at the time," but it's seriously not. Absolutely, it's dire. Yeah.
But another actor that's reliving on his previous achievements is Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Mm-hmm.
You know, coming back in the latest releases of kickboxing movies and stuff like that now has the trainer and the coach and things like that. It's just like, we know you can still do it, you know, but you're at that age now where should you still be doing it?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
It's the same with Liam Neeson, who you mentioned earlier, because I've noticed that he's doing a lot of straight to movie Netflix special things that are all based around the same thing. It's like his daughter gets kidnapped or whatever, or someone gets killed because they get mixed up with like drugs or something, and then he goes after them, and he's just supposedly this like father without any sort of other thing happening, and yet he's got all these kick-ass skills.
Yeah. What's the latest one he's in? Is it called Amnesia? He's a hitman that's got memory loss.
Surprised me.
Yeah, he's a hitman that's suffering from memory loss. So, Evening Cherry.
I watched one which actually, I think it was called Colder. Was it? Colder?
Colder.
Oh, cold something. And he's supposed to be. He goes to look at like to avenge the death of his daughter or whatever, and like, you know, gets all these people. And he's supposed to just have a garage. You know what I mean? It's like how do you how do you work that out? But yeah. I think he did one with his son as well, but that was like non-action. That was the only non-action, and it wasn't any good.
Frozen.
Is it Frozen? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called Frozen, apparently. Oh, Cold Pursuit. There you go.
Cold Pursuit. Yeah, I think the picture on the front is like a truck on the top of a lamppost or something. I can't remember, but something like that anyway.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I say, I'm just looking at the movies that he's supposed to have done The Marksman, Ice Road, Honest Thief, Cold Pursuit. These are all ones that he's done recently that I've not heard of. The Commuter was a hitman on the train, wasn't he?
No, I liked that. I watched that and I really liked that. I thought it was good.
Yeah. But yeah, he's done for a bloke in his later life, shall we say, he's done quite a lot of action movies as of late.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Commuter one. I can't think what it was. But like, if you go back to Love Actually and Batman and Schindler's List and stuff like that, like it's a million miles away, isn't it?
Well, we were watching Taken, and I said to Lawrence, it's hard to believe he was the voice of Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Aye.
Sorry, the cat had done a runner then, so that's where I buggered off to.
No worries.
So yeah, Pete saying he was brilliant as they in the first Darkman. He was, and then you got it was Bruce Campbell, wasn't it? When he put the mask on and he turned around, it ended up being Bruce Campbell at the end of Darkman. That was quite cool. But yeah, we were just talking then, Shabba, that Liam Neeson, with the latest films he's just been doing there, and I've just read a load out that I didn't even know he was in, and it was films he's meant to have done in the last 4 years. So it's another older gentleman in his action debuts.
Signed up, I think, for another 2 Takens. It's like, how far can you go with this?
Well, it was his daughter, then it was his wife, then it was both of them, wasn't it? So if it's another 2,
What's the next one? He's milk bottles or something.
Has he had a kid with Holly Valance? You know, because he was rescuing her in the first one, wasn't he?
Yeah. From her pop career.
Yeah.
Someone needs to say that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's been said, but I wish Liam Neeson will start whispering and start talking. Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Bruce Campbell in one of the Spider-Man movies.
Bruce Campbell was in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movie. Yeah. He was the wrestling announcer.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
If I remember. Yeah. But Bruce Campbell was also in Sam Raimi's first film, The Evil Dead, wasn't he? So, you know, he was Ash in The Evil Dead.
The third one, though, Army of Darkness, I thought that was hilarious when I first watched it. I watched that one before the first and the second one, which, in theory, you don't really need to watch them in any chronological order.
It depends on which ending you watch.
True.
Yeah, if you watch the one where he's in Walmart, then it makes sense when you watch the others back. But if you watch the one where he takes too many drops and wakes up in the future, then you're a bit confused. But yeah. Yeah, the Army of Darkness is just brilliant. It's the whole, God, he got the 2 shoes, God, he got the 2 shoes.
That's when he's in the mill, isn't it? Where, he's either hallucinating or something, and they're all like stabbing his backside with a fork and stuff. Yeah. I thought that was hilarious, and the skeleton as well. I'm trying to think now. I think it's the end battle where all the skeletons are fighting. Yeah, they just look so cheap, but it was so funny.
You get a couple of computer-generated ones running around, and then you just see blokes in skeleton suits for them passing. But yeah, it's brilliant. But it's the bit where he swallows one of the little men in the mill, and it just grows out of his shoulder, and you see him punching himself. But they are good though. The Evil Dead. I tried to get Lana to watch one of them, and she just thought it was awful.
it's a different type of awful. It's good. Like, you can get awful B movies, but the way it's been done, a bit like Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire ones, you could see the majority of that is CGI, but it fit that genre of movie at the time. And I still think Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. I'm not keen on Tom Holland at all.
There's one character in the Spider-Man movies that I feel sorry for, which is Bonesaw, the wrestler, because he's obviously been beaten by the Man Spider, because they get the name wrong, don't they? But then he never gets a rematch because Spider-Man goes off and becomes a superhero. So what's he doing for the rest of his life? Is he just miraculously giving the belt back? I don't know. He sort of just ruined his career, didn't it? But that's just me overthinking it. But yeah, but that was Macho Man Randy Savage, wasn't it, Bonesaw?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other Bruce Campbell film. What else has Bruce Campbell been in?
Bubba Hotep, where he's Elvis Presley, but he's not. And there's like zombies from an Egyptian land. I never watched the full version of that. It's like it was just a bit too odd. So it's like a bit totally random. But other films he's been in, I know he's been in obviously the Evil Dead series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which I haven't watched. But I think they only did one season anyway. I'm not keen on it.
I tried to watch it, but it wasn't as good as the Evil Dead films. I think it's the same as when you're trying to take something like that and put it into a series. It doesn't translate as well. Did you watch Halo?
I've not. No, not yet. I will do. I've got a streaming site I can watch it on, so it's fine. I did watch Jackass Forever though.
Is that any good?
Yeah, but because it's missing Bam, it's missing something. It still made me laugh. I thought it was hilarious in most parts, but the fact that I didn't have Bam Margera in it, because obviously he got sacked. I know, obviously, with Ryan Dunn passing away quite a number of years ago now, but it just wasn't the same. And they did have a few new cast members, and the one that probably stood out for the new cast members was a guy called Poopies. He's been on I think he's a surfer, or he was a semi-professional surfer.
Right.
But he actually fit in with the crowd, while the others who were there, it's like they were missing something like the enthusiasm for it. But yeah, other than that, yeah, about a 7 out of 10, I give it.
It's just it makes you laugh though when you were saying that they're not enthusiastic to be on Jackass. It's like they don't know what they're signing up for.
Yeah.
You know, just you've got 10 years worth of Jackass. Just go back and see that the fact you're going to get smacked in the face by a giant hand or something silly like that, you know.
Or if you go for a number 2, expect your toilet to explode.
Yeah, you know, something like that, you know. But yeah, Jackass is on my list to watch. There's a couple I watched. I did watch a few movies this week. I watched Godzilla vs. Kong. I watched Moonfall, and
now is that good?
I was hoping it was going to be better than it was. It's not totally bad, but it's not brilliant at the same time. They set up for a sequel, so we know that there's a possibility of a sequel, but I think it was just released at the wrong time. If you've got all these big films coming out now, this is the type of film that you'd rather go and see Spider-Man or Maverick than go to see this. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. The special effects were brilliant. The storyline is superb. It was just something that just wasn't there. It just wasn't sort of putting it together for me. Peter's seen it though. Peter in the chat seen it, and he said it was really, really good. So again, don't let me put you off it. Go and watch it. It's an okay film. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I watched the new Spider-Man as well last week. To be fair, I didn't like Andrew Garfield as a Spider-Man. I just thought the films were weak. But he actually is a fairly good actor, an accomplished actor, and he did well in the newest Spider-Man, obviously the Spider-Verse version of it. And I actually felt sorry for him.
Did you not think he come across as being a bit wimpy?
Yeah.
What was your view, Lainey?
But they are wimpy, though. If you know what I mean. Like, they're all meant to be that sort of nerdy, dark side of like
Intelligent, but nerdy.
and kind of that's what they come across as until obviously the Spider-Man, and then they're not, if that makes sense.
But Tom Holland's nerdy Spider-Man, he's still quite with it, isn't he? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's obviously a lot older, and although he's nerdy, he's very confident. I just think Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was nerdy and weak. He just come across as being a bit needy, and he wasn't like that in his films, was he? If anything, he had more of the darker.
But you don't think like it was because of like the whole Gwen situation, and obviously him still sort of like
getting over her.
He probably and blames himself and all that sort of thing. So like, you know what I mean? Maybe that was why they wanted to show that side of him, like, you know, because they'd all lost people, but like losing Uncle Sam or his auntie is not the same as losing the love of your life, is it?
Yeah,
supposedly.
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben. Why did I say Uncle Sam? What was I even thinking of?
It's an American film. I can forgive you for Uncle Sam.
Right.
But yeah, it's the bit where he catches. Do I need to put the spoiler banner up? Has everyone seen No Way Home by now?
No, you probably need to put the spoiler banner up.
It's the bit where he catches MJ, you know, and he's just like, he's redeemed himself in that. Mm-hmm. And I did like when Tobey's Spider-Man stopped Tom's Spider-Man from killing the Green Goblin. Yeah. You know, it's just like, don't make the same mistake I've made here. You know, just, you know, you don't want to go down that route. There's a few little bits like that, trying to explain to Lana that there is more than one Spider-Man. And it's where Electro goes, oh, so in another universe is a black Spider-Man. Yeah, there is, but he's not called Peter Parker. And that blew Lana's mind when I had to try and explain that one to her.
Yeah.
But
what they should have had, though, is different characters for... They should have had, obviously, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. But because, obviously, the Green Goblin was already dead when Tobey Maguire came through the portal, that Green Goblin should have come from a different multiverse. And same with Doc Ock. And with more of a kind of like a bowler head cut and, you know, stranger glasses, like off the comics. And more looking like a professor. But it was like it was kind of a mishmash of the same universes. It kind of didn't make sense, but it did.
Yeah, bring in Ock and Osborn back from the dead for Tobey, and it's just like Tobey's obviously stepped through from his version of the future, but these have came from the past.
Yeah.
So the multiverse wasn't just bringing people from the existing timelines from those universes. It was messing with time as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it would have been even more complicated and better if it brought in like new actors for the same characters. But I guess it would have just overcomplicated it.
I think that's sort of trying to tie in and Lainey, you've already said that you've not seen these, but that's also trying to tie in with the stuff that's going to be happening in Loki season 2 and WandaVision season 2, if we ever get WandaVision. I know she's in the Multiverse of Madness, and stuff like that, where people are playing with stuff in the background as well as whatever Strange is going to do now, because he's already blaming Peter for what he's going to unlock in the movie compared to what he's already done in No Way Home. So they've got to have that time aspect in there, because they have flirted with it in 2 other series that are supposed to interlink. How it's going to interlink, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out Phase 4 of.
Well,
of
obviously
Marvel.
because of the end credits with Venom, and the fact that he's obviously moving through time, essentially.
He's moving to he's left part of himself behind in a different universe, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's done there, because the Tom Hardy Venom is supposed to be the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man for Sony, isn't he? That's where Andrew Garfield Spider-Man's coming back in now. So the whole Morbius, Venom, and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is going to be Sony Spider-Man, and then Holland's going to carry on for Disney.
Yeah.
And DC doing their own multiverse as well.
With the Flashpoint, yeah.
I'm trying to think of Morbius is out as well next month. Doesn't kind of tickle my fancy at all.
No, well, Morbius was more of an antagonist from Spider-Man, wasn't he? He wasn't really a big Marvel sort of character. He was in a couple of episodes. He was in a couple of comics in the late 70s, and then he was in the Amazing Spider-Man cartoons. But he didn't make the jump into the later stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking at the clips, it doesn't tickle me at all, considering the fact they've refilmed the majority of it and it's been delayed for a couple of years.
Excuse me, is that the Jared Leto?
Yeah, from 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah. He's a good actor, him.
Yeah, he's been around for quite a number of years.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He was good in oh man.
It's like he's gone from one bad comic version to another. With the Joker and stuff like that. But he's
Suicide.
He's still contracted to play Joker for DC. Mm-hmm. Although we've now got Joaquin Phoenix, who's contracted again for another Joker film. And is it Brendan Keogh or Brian Keogh from The Eternals, who played Joker in the Batman? He's still there as well. So you've technically got 3 Jokers running around.
In regards to Joaquin Phoenix Joker, who'll play Batman to be obviously his rival, his enemy.
Who would you have play him?
Well, in the Joker, it was Ben Affleck, wasn't it? If I'm going off right in regards to right at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Supposed to be Ben Affleck. But then you got Ben Affleck in the Suicide Squad version as well, with a different Joker. So who in theory would be the Batman for Joaquin Phoenix Joker?
Well, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker was all in his head, wasn't it? That was the thing.
Bruce Wayne's parents died in the obviously with all the riots happening at the same time, right at the end. Should bring back Christian Bale. He's a dark version, and he can pull off.
Yeah, but if you're talking a dark version of Batman, you've got that dark, piss-poor version of Batman and the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Mm-hmm. I've not seen it yet. No spoilers.
Don't watch my video then. No. I'd say piss poor. It's not piss poor. It's just they have good scenes, and they just don't execute the final part of the scene. It's just like getting it to 80%. Well, that'll do. No, just push it. Just push it. Just tip it over. But they just never get there with it. Yeah. Who would going on to your superhero stuff then? Obviously, you've got your Aquaman 2 that's been brought forward, hasn't it? That's been brought forward.
Lenny can't wait.
22. So you've got Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Who would you recast as Aquaman? Because I believe this might be Jason Momoa's last DC film, because they're recasting. Obviously, Henry Cavill's not going to be Superman. Ben Affleck's not Batman anymore. Who would you recast as Aquaman?
I don't know. The guy who plays Outlander, Jamie Fraser. Sam, what's his name? Sam Haya? Is that what his surname is?
Based on the comic, Ryan Gosling, because he's the same design, same like features, same hair.
Would you not have the bloke that's just played Jack Reacher?
No.
No. All right, yeah, I see where you're going with that one, Lainey.
Yeah.
See where you're going with that one. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously you've got
laughing at Neil because he's put Andrew Nolan
as Aquaman. It means
he's Aquaman.
Evening, Chris. I hope you're all right. Yeah, it's an interesting one when you look at it, because there's so many actors out there, and if you look at Chris Evans has played about 12 different comic book characters in his career. You take in consideration who he's voiced in cartoons and
Fantastic Four as well.
Yeah, and the characters from like Snowpiercer and people like that, they're original comics. So yeah, he's played quite a few. So it's not like you're either Marvel or you're DC now. You could be either or you could play both at the same time, couldn't you?
Chris is exposing himself in the chat. To Kath.
Oh, he's put a couple of videos out today, hasn't he, Chris? Yeah, my YouTube notifications have been going wild, and it's all been Cookie and the Haydens.
Isn't there going to be like a She-Hulk?
Yes.
I just can't imagine that. You know what I mean? But,
well, I'm hoping they do She-Hulk the same ways that they did Deadpool, because if they keep her original to the comic, she was another one that was constantly breaking the fourth wall. She was talking to you as the reader and letting you know what she was thinking. And we don't really get to see much of that now, do we, in films? Obviously, Deadpool brought that side of it back, but
yeah,
that should be quite good if they did it that way.
I don't know the actress who's playing her though.
No.
Tatiana Maslany.
Has she been in anything we know?
Stronger with what's he called? Jake Gyllenhaal. Or Jake Gyllenhaal.
So there's 3 big movies to come out this year in that Doctor Strange is Multiverse of Madness. There's another Thor, isn't there? Another Black Panther later this year.
Yeah.
And then that
Guardians
Marvel-
of the Galaxy.
is there a new Guardians of the Galaxy this year?
Yeah.
In 2023. It was supposed to be out end of this year.
But they've pushed it back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they've actually started looking at the release dates of these films and how they are linking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because, like say, DC have moved a lot of theirs around to sort of tie in. But the thing that ruined it for me was the Eternals, because the Eternals sort of went, well, don't worry what you've watched over here. Because we've not really been taking part in that. We're doing our own thing over here, and we'll just bypass a lot of that. And then they've ruined Guardians 2 for us because they've just told us the Eternals aren't anything special. They're celestial beings, aren't they? They're not anything special.
There's one called The Marvels, which is coming out 11th of November with Brie Larson.
Yeah.
I've not seen anything on that one.
That's going to be her last outing as Captain Marvel.
Because we've still got, like, obviously, Chris is no longer Captain America. He passed it on, didn't he? So it's like we've got all this to come up with there with them in that.
Well, Sam's already Captain America. The one who played the Falcon, he's already Captain America. At the end of the Winter Soldier and Falcon, he gets the uniform and shield, and he keeps it.
Yeah, he's passed it on, but it's not like we haven't really seen anything of them as such. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, in the series, Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Oh, right, I haven't seen the series version.
So, Steve gives the shield to Sam, and then Sam decides it's not for him and puts it in a museum, and then they give it to another Captain America. They give it to him. Yeah. And then the whole series is about how he becomes Captain America again. And then, spoiler alert, look, if you haven't watched The Winter Soldier and Falcon in the last 18 months, then you're miles behind. So, it's not that good of a series, to be honest with you, Lainey. It could have been a 3-hour movie and give you the same effect.
So, Morbius, or Morbius, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Is he evil? Because he looks quite evil, and I don't know.
He's sort of like an anti-hero. He's not really good or bad. So
bit like Venom.
Yeah.
Bit like Venom, bit like Deadpool kind of thing.
Bit like a Predator as well. Going off subject.
He'll just do in the cartoons, he's sort of passed off as being a bad guy, but he's not really a bad guy. Even in the cartoons, he's not eating people or anything like that. He's just a vampire in a sense. But yeah, it's gonna, like I say, it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with it, because Sony are trying to build their own sort of universe, sort of like MCU type of thing with characters that they own, but they still own the rights to Hulk. That's why we've not had a Hulk standalone movie since The Incredible Hulk, with Ed Norton.
Yeah.
And that's why the Hulk's only in the Avengers and whatever very sparsely as the Hulk. That's why Mark Ruffalo gets a lot of face time as Mark Ruffalo, as Bruce Banner. So it's going to be interesting what happens there.
Who's your favourite Bruce Banner
I quite like Eric Banner.
Mm.
He was a good Bruce. I did like Ed Norton, but Mark Ruffalo's growing on me.
I like him.
I didn't like what they did with him when he become Smart Hulk. Doctor Hulk. I didn't like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see that he's gone back to being Bruce at the end of what's that shit one? Shang-Chi. You know, at the end clip on that, he's back to being Bruce, isn't he, with his arm all strapped up and stuff. But yeah. What's that? Bill Bixby, no argument.
Who was the was he the original Bill Bixby?
He was the original one.
Yeah, I remember him. Then when growing up, I remember him as him.
And Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
You see, Kathy, you've beat me to it. The first 4 episodes are released, aren't they, of Moon Knight? And you've beat me to it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, Moon Knight.
Hmm.
Oh, Moon Knight.
It's another Marvel character. It's another Marvel series.
Ah.
But yeah, the first 4 episodes were released yesterday.
I don't even know where to start with the series of them. Like, can you just pick up anyone and start from there? Or, like, because I haven't seen any of them going back from, like, the whole Jessica Jones.
So, you've obviously seen Endgame, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so WandaVision picks up at the end of Endgame where Vision dies, and it's how Wanda's dealing with Vision's death. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is picking up from where Steve gives Sam the shield.
Right.
And that goes on from there. Loki is just Loki because he's dead, isn't he, and stuff at the start of Endgame. And that picks up Loki's story after that. Because when they go back to get the Tesseract, Loki disappears with the Tesseract in Endgame, doesn't he? They don't get that one back.
Yeah.
It's that version of Loki that's in the series. And Hawkeye is obviously Hawkeye dealing with whatever once the Avengers has been disbanded. And it goes on from there. So you'll see him as the Ronin.
I was about to say, so is that when he becomes the Ronin?
That's when he becomes it, yeah. So you see him as the Ronin. You see what he does up to that point in Endgame where they bring him back. And then,
do you think watching Endgame before would be a good thing just to, like, refresh before then I went on to watch
you can refresh your story arcs, yeah, and then you go through, but then the series don't really refer back to anything that's happened before them. You're just expected to know, right, Vision's dead, okay, right, this has happened, and whatever, yeah.
When it does cut, it doesn't ruin any story from like Endgame or any of the other movies, but it's a cut from a movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't ruin anything, so you can watch in any order, I think, personally. Like WandaVision,
I might rewatch the last 2, like Marvel, like just because Avengers, because I think just have like that refresh. Plus, I only watched them once. I haven't watched them, and normally I rewatch just for the fact that you missed stuff that you, because you were too concentrated on what was going on that you missed bits, and then you realise bits and stuff like that. Well,
the Falcon and the Winter Soldier sort of focuses a bit more on the blip, where people disappeared within the snap of Thanos, and you see.
Maybe watch the first half, and then watch that because they're still missing, aren't they? At that point, before the second.
No, they've come back at that point of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, so they've already. So
it's the aftermath of people returning, and then all the government, everything are all setting back up again. And you go, well, hang on, we've had 5 years of managing ourselves, and now you want to go back into having governments and stuff like that. So that was an interesting sort of take on it. But like I say, if you've got 6 hours of something else you'd rather do with your life, I'd recommend you do that instead. So Kathy and Joanne are still confused.
It's very confusing.
But like I say, if you want, we could do a show on Marvel, and I could bring you up to speed with everything if you wanted. But I know that would just bore Chris, and he'll just turn off because he's not really.
We need to do like a blinking superhero family tree thing, and like you know, and then they went off and to do that, and they've also done that with Sony and Disney, and you know what I mean, and
yeah,
because there's so many different things you can't it's so confusing. Because I was going to rewatch the whole Marvel in rather than in order that they came out, in order that they are. So essentially, you would start with Captain America, wouldn't you? Because she's like the first one, isn't she?
You'll start. If you're going in that order, it'll be Captain America, then Captain Marvel. No, it wouldn't.
No, Captain Marvel, then Captain America, isn't it?
No, Captain America was 1940, wasn't it? It was World War II. Captain Marvel was late 90s. And then you'll be the Hulk then, won't it? Going into that, yeah. Yeah, that'll be the way to do it. If you got Disney Plus sort it in that way. You can either sort it in release date, or you can sort it in time order.
Yeah,
which makes it easier.
You can do that with Star Wars as well.
No,
I tried to do Star Wars. Never again will I try to do Star Wars.
Why not?
There's only one way to watch Star Wars, and that's 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Then you've got 7, 8, 9.
Well,
what's wrong with Rogue One?
Rogue One's brilliant, but if you want to call Rogue One anything, it's 3.5.
3.5, yeah.
Solo is 3.75.
Jeez.
No, Solo will
be less.
Rogue One.
It'd be like 3.1 or something.
Yeah, Solo will be 3.5, and then Rogue One will be 3.75 going into New Hope, which will be 4.
Chewie's still like a commander, isn't he? Of the Wookiee, like tribe. So yeah, because he saves like Yoda at the end of the third one, because then he goes to exile to that swamp planet. Yeah, so Solo's got 3.1, and you got Rogue One 3.5. You got 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6.
It's
right,
confusing.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the cast now for She-Hulk. Obviously, Mark Ruffalo is in She-Hulk. Tim Roth is coming back as Abomination. That'll be good. I wasn't a big fan of the Abomination in Shang-Chi, but Tim Roth's coming back there. Josh Segura, he's not a character that I'm au fait with. There isn't anyone else coming back that is known at the moment as in characters. Jamal's playing Tatiana, and then But then I'm looking at it, and we're talking about next year's movies. There's 3 Iron Man movies here. There's Ironheart and Armor Wars.
So who's going to be Iron Man?
Iron Man.
I have no clue.
Maybe just AI.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do with Iron Man. That'll be interesting. Pepper Potts, yeah. Maybe it's his daughter. Maybe it's Morgan.
Are you in your pajama bottoms?
Maybe it's going to be Happy.
Yeah, they're in pajama bottoms.
I thought they were. I'm like looking at them on the big screen. On the small screen, I can't really see. I'm like looking at the big screen. It's like, yeah, pajama bottoms.
I was all Hulk today because I've had my Hulk pajama bottoms on and I've had my Hulk hoodie on because it was a bit cold.
Was it snowing where you were?
A little bit of hailstone this morning. Little Steve's had snow. He woke up and it was like a snowfield. It was like a snowfield where he was this morning.
Yeah, same up here, Nick Pennines. Yeah, it was snowing for about half an hour, 45 minutes, but it stuck. So, but it's just strange how it's like right at the end of March, and last week we had like amazing weather, and now like it's been super snowing today. Strange. Global warming for you. We need a Captain Planet movie.
Yeah, sorry, Kathy. We'll de-Marvel next week for you. See. What films would you like to see them do? Obviously, Captain Planet. There, you've just mentioned there on that vein. What else would you like to see them tackle? That'll be a good question for the chat as well, Dal, actually. What would you like to see movie studios have a go at?
Defenders of the Earth, another one.
Thundercats movie, that would be good. They went through a stage, didn't they, of putting like Brad Pitt in and people led that into like Lion-O and Panthro and people. Mask, yeah. Mask will be a good film.
You got Master of the Universe as well, but an updated one. But based on Eternia.
Well, have you had a go at the two current He-Man series? The Revelations.
I got this from Z Shop, if you can see.
Oh, did you pick that up from Z? Evil Lynn?
Yeah, Evil Lynn. Oh, I've got another one as well. My pickups of the week, sorry. And if you can see.
Oh, you picked up the Trooper.
I did, yeah. Iron Maiden.
Mate. There you go. You're on big screen now. Let's have a look at them.
I'm just a big kid at heart.
That was Eddie, isn't it? Eddie the Trooper.
It is, yeah. God, my camera's crap. It's a new flipping laptop as well.
It might just be your light, mate. Your light might be a bit dim. There we go. That's a bit better.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wacky Races. I'd love that.
Panthro would have to be Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. Would you not like to see The Rock play a bad guy for a change?
Yeah, if he was like a bad kind of good guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I know he's going to be Black Adam in Shazam and Black Adam, obviously. He's technically a bad guy, but I'd like to see him play more bad guys. The Scorpion King doesn't count, to be fair, does it? They when he was in the Mummy films. But yeah, I'd like to see him actually play a proper bad guy for a change.
Centurions.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be an awesome film. So there you go. We're just listing cartoon 80s.
Yeah, from the 80s, yeah. You'll have like flipping My Little Pony, the live action version as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do She-Ra as well, to be fair. You're doing He-Man, you might as well do the girls' version, the women's version.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to think what else you could make a film of, and like you say, there's a lot of crossover stories, but like for example, Transformers and GI Joe, they crossed over quite a lot. There was an interesting comic arc with Doctor Who. In one of the episodes of Doctor Who, the TARDIS lands on the Enterprise, and Doctor Who and Picard go off on a story together. And stuff like so. There's stuff like that they could do. Dogtanian.
Yeah, Jason the Wheeled Warriors as well.
I'd love to see a live action Ulysses 31. That'll be brilliant.
9 years.
That'd be good. But like I say, now we're just listing our childhood cartoons here.
Well, I feel they would be good as movies, to be fair, because there's so many story arcs in them because of the amount of episodes they had. And it's a fact, obviously, Transformers got modernized and made into live action. So, yeah, it's definitely there. Instead of doing remakes or...
They also did Turtles, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Although the Ninja Turtles, the current one, it's not a scratch on the live action one in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Because they look like the cartoon.
The new Turtles movie's gone back to the cartoon again, hasn't it? It's gone back animated. The one that's coming out later on this year has gone back to animation. It's not live action. Let's have a look what they've got here. We've got Dogtanian, Mysterious Cities of Gold. Little Steve just picked up a box set of Mysterious Cities of Gold, the full series of the cartoon. Ulysses 31 had the best soundtrack. Yeah, it did. It had an awesome theme tune. What about a proper Thunderbirds movie?
Busted did the soundtrack for that Thunderbirds movie. I shouldn't know that really, to be fair, but still.
So, speaking about stuff that you shouldn't really know, Shabba, if Lainey was to do a quiz, would you come on?
Okay, yeah, sure. No problem.
Yeah. So, obviously, it'll be myself and Little Steve. We bring you on. We'll get another couple of quiz guests on. We'll do what we did the last time with Andrew and Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Right. You've probably noticed I haven't done a year for review this week because when I was doing the homework movie wheel, I accidentally cleared the year wheel. So I have to go back to last week's show and see what years were left on the wheel and then redo that. So I apologize for that. That was me hitting a button I shouldn't have hit, and then I couldn't get it back once I've done it. So what we'll do for next week is that I'll fix it and then I'll just put a quick update of the wheel spinning out on YouTube, and that'll be for the year. Unless you guys want to pick a genre, should we have a look at a genre for next week? Spice it up a little bit. Sport movies.
Sport movies.
Okay, there we go then. So we'll have a look at sport movies for next week, and the homework movie for this week was 1 Hour Photo. So what I'm going to do is I'll just call it a night here. It's coming on to 10 to 9. I know people like to disappear and go and watch the 9 o'clock starts, etc. Thank you to my guests, Shabba. Always a pleasure. Lainey, thank you for bailing me out early on. That it was much appreciated. Thank you very much. You can catch us on Movie Chats 2021 on Instagram, And we're also on the Movie Chats and Film Geeks Facebook page. We do post stuff on there. And if you're not a member on that, then please join us on the Facebook and share what you've been watching, etc. there. And also check out Melton Movies 1. He's just gone past the 500 subscribers mark, and he's got some great videos on there as well. And thank you for watching another week of Movie Chats, and I'll catch you next week. Guests, thank you very much.
Bye.